The pressure inside the halls of OpenAI has finally reached an absolute deafening breaking point. For the last several months, the air in San Francisco wasn't filled with the usual scent of victory, but with the cold, hard realization of an existential threat. Behind the sleek glass walls of OpenAI's headquarters, the atmosphere was one of total emergency. The rumors were not just whispers anymore. They were facts. A code red had been officially declared by CEO Sam Altman. The reason for this panic? One word: Google. For the first time since the revolution began, Google wasn't just catching up, they were winning. Their Gemini 3 and the viral, hyper-realistic dominance of their Nano Banana Pro image model had started to dominate the El Marina leaderboards, leaving OpenAI's legacy tools in the dust. The world was moving on. Creators were switching sides. OpenAI, the pioneer, was suddenly looking like a slow-moving giant in a world of fast-moving predators. But today, the giant has woken up. Today, OpenAI has fired a shot that is intended to end the debate once and for all. They have just unleashed their newest, most lethal weapon in the visual arms race, GPT-Image Model 1.5. This is not a minor update. This is not a simple patch or a slight improvement in resolution. This is a total strategic overhaul. It is a calculated strike designed to incinerate Google's momentum before the year 2025 comes to a close. OpenAI didn't want to wait for the CES event in January. They couldn't afford to wait for another quarter of traffic decline. They had to act now. They had to prove that they still own the visual magic that first captivated the world. Let's talk about the raw power of this new engine. In the world of high-stakes creative production, speed is the only currency that matters. OpenAI claims that GPT-Image 1.5 runs up to 4 times faster than anything they have released before. Think about that for a second. That is not a 10 or 20% improvement. That is a generational leap. In a professional environment where every second costs money, 4 times faster means the difference between a creative flow state and a soul-crushing roadblock. It means that the barrier between a thought in your head and a high-resolution image on your screen has effectively vanished. But, as any professional creator will tell you, speed is absolutely worthless if you don't have control. And control has always been the Achilles heel of generative AI. We have all been there. You generate a beautiful image, but the eyes are the wrong color, or there's an extra finger, or you want to change just one small detail. In the past, asking for an edit meant the model would hallucinate an entirely new scene, destroying your work. GPT-Image 1.5 changes the rules of the game forever. OpenAI has finally introduced precise, iterative editing tools that function with surgical accuracy. We are talking about the ability to add or remove objects, change the fabric of a character's clothing, adjust the lighting of a specific corner of the room, and refine intricate details without touching the rest of the composition. This is no longer a slot machine where you pull the lever and hope for the best. This is a professional-grade creative studio. Fidji Simo, the CEO of applications at OpenAI, was blunt in her assessment. The old chat interface was never meant for this. It was a bridge, but it wasn't the destination. That is why GPT-Image 1.5 is launching with a completely dedicated image creation space within the ChatGPT sidebar. This is a visual-first environment. It comes loaded with preset styles, trending designs, and inspiration filters. It is OpenAI's formal entry into the world of professional design software. They are no longer just a chatbot company. They are coming for the entire creative suite market. And then, we have to address the text problem. Typography has been the nightmare of every AI engineer for years. Most models, even the most advanced ones, would produce gibberish that looked like an alien language. It was the ultimate tell that an image was fake. GPT-Image 1.5 claims to have shattered this barrier. The model now produces incredibly legible, precise, and stylistically consistent text rendering. This opens the door for high-end marketing social media branding, and professional posters, tasks that were previously impossible without heavy manual editing. But we have to look deeper. Why the rush? Why the sudden acceleration of the timeline? It all goes back to that code red. Sam Altman knew that Google's Nano Banana Pro wasn't just a technical achievement, it was a cultural one. It had a specific, raw, unedited aesthetic that felt real in a way OpenAI's images didn't. Google had captured the vibe of the internet. OpenAI was perceived as being too polished, too artificial. By launching GPT-Image 1.5 right now, OpenAI is attempting to reclaim the narrative. They are trying to show that they can do realism, they can do speed, and they can do it better than the tech giant from Mountain View. They are betting that their user base is loyal enough to stay, provided they are given the best tools in the world. The stakes are even more staggering when you look at the corporate alliances being formed. Just recently, OpenAI signed a massive history-making agreement with Disney. We are talking about bringing over 200 of the most iconic characters in human history into the ChatGPT and Sora ecosystem. While Mickey Mouse and the Avengers won't appear in GPT-Image 1.5 immediately, this model is the technological foundation that will support those assets. It has to be stable. It has to be perfect. OpenAI cannot afford to mess up the rendering of a global icon. As we move toward the end of 2025, the gap between imagination and execution is becoming paper-thin. OpenAI is focused on 3 pillars: speed, consistency, and absolute control. They aren't just giving you a tool to make a picture anymore. They are giving you a digital God mode for the visual world. The AI Cold War has entered its most aggressive, most visual phase yet. Google is not going to sit still. They have the data, they have the compute, and they have the integration, but OpenAI has the code red energy. They are fighting like their lives depend on it, because in the tech world, they do. GPT. Image 1.5 is more than a model. It is a statement. It is a warning to Google that the pioneer is not ready to surrender the throne. Every pixel generated by this new engine is a bullet fired in a war for the future of the trillion-dollar creative economy. The question for you, the creator, is no longer if you will use AI, but which side you will choose. Will you stick with the integration of Google, or will you follow the raw, unfiltered power of OpenAI's new creative studio? The creative revolution is not some distant prophecy anymore. It is happening right now, in your sidebar, at 4 times the speed of light. OpenAI has made its move. The world is watching. And Google, the ball is back in your court. The battle for 2026 starts today.